What's going on, everybody? I'm Tanner Markle.
And I'm Erek Doty.
And we are Green Desert Gaming, where every 2 weeks we come together to talk over a video game. So join us as we play video games of all eras and talk our way through them. And this week, we're playing Banjo-Kazooie. Woo! Developed by Rareware. I don't know if it was Rare or Rareware.
I've only heard of Rare, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure if they changed it or when that happened, but it was originally developed in 1998 for the Nintendo 64. Later, it's going to be brought to the Xbox 360, which I think I played it on the Xbox 360.
The first time ever playing it, so...
Did you also play it on 360?
Oh, I played it on the One, yeah.
Well, oh yeah, on the...
Xbox One, yeah.
Xbox Arcade, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Banjo-Kazooie has a real long history. It has three main games. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and then Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, it was also in Smash at one point, I believe, right? I think I read that somewhere.
Banjo is in the new Smash.
The newest Smash?
The newest one.
Oh, okay.
He's like one of the unlockable characters.
Alright, cool. That might have been what I was seeing. So.
He originally appeared in Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay.
Whenever the fuck that came out.
Yeah. I've never played that one either. I didn't even know about that one.
You will eventually.
Yeah.
We're gonna play them all.
Every one of them.
That's
all 1,000 plus
that's
games.
Gotta play them all. Green Desert
Gaming.
Anyways, when it originally came out, it got really good scores. Everybody was generally positive about the first game and the second game. High 90s, mid 90s, low 90s, A+ in most cases.
Sweet.
In 99, it actually won the award for Best Console Adventure Game and Best Art Design of a Game.
Okay.
So
that's in 99 though.
That's yeah. It came out in 98. It took a year. It had to mature a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, people were generally impressed with this first game in the series. The second game was also very true. People loved it. It's just another Nintendo 64 platformer, you know.
Yeah.
You just played one. And then the third game came out on the Xbox 360, actually. It was still developed by Rare, published by Microsoft Studios. And people weren't as impressed with this game just because the first two games had a formula that you would expect them to follow, and they didn't follow it.
Okay. And I've played Nuts and Bolts just a little bit, but...
Yeah, so it's a car building game.
Yeah. But
it doesn't feel like a Banjo game.
Yeah, now that I've played Banjo...
So, Banjo-Tooie is more reminiscent of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
You know how Banjo-Kazooie feels. Mm-hmm. So those two games come out. Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
And then Banjo Nuts and Bolts comes out. Everybody's expecting a third one of the same formula. But it doesn't really work out like that. Rare develops this car building game.
Where it's just more racing, right? Rather than...
it's like
running around platformer type.
Yeah, it's more racing, kind of goofy goal challenges, like flying through rings and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't...
It's like they developed a different game and then slapped Banjo on top of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what happened.
Okay.
But that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
I like the game. I personally played the shit out of the game. So anyways, we can go ahead and get started talking about Banjo-Kazooie. In Banjo-Kazooie, it's just a Nintendo 64 platformer.
Yep.
You're running around, you're jumping. Like Doty was saying, you're collecting stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Like what?
Well, just lots of the same stuff.
Well, I mean,
it's
tell us some of the stuff we're collecting.
Oh, you're collecting Jiggies, Jingos, what is it? Notes. Music notes, and let's see. There's
Mumbo tokens.
Yeah, Mumbos, which I used a few, but I didn't really mess with that too much.
And then, so this game just puts you in puzzles and expects you to figure them out with whatever tools it gives you.
And yeah, all the different moves, abilities.
So in Banjo-Kazooie, you play a bear Banjo and his little friend Kazooie, who's in the backpack.
Yeah, a little bird.
Yeah, and...
She. I found out halfway through. I was like, makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't notice because they just say her a lot, but
Yeah.
I just didn't catch that right off the bat.
And so what's the story? Like, nothing. Banjo's hanging out, like, chilling.
That's all I get.
Yeah.
It's a normal day, and then all of a sudden some stuff goes down.
Yeah, this witch Gruntilda
Yep.
flies down and steals Banjo's sister.
I think her pot was telling her how ugly she was.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
She was
it's kind of
looking-
like a, what is it?
The mirror.
Yeah, a mirror on the wall type situation.
So
but
she
with
looks in her pot and is
Yeah.
like, who's the prettiest?
And you're like, definitely not you.
Yeah, definitely. the humor in this game.
It was very funny.
It's pretty good.
That's the one part I enjoyed about the game.
Anyway, so she looks in this pot. Turns out she's ugly. Big, gross witch.
Yeah, really true.
So she flies down and steals Banjo's sister, Tooty.
Tooty. Which is pretty, like, kind of getting ready for the second game already, if I...
Yeah. Tooty,
it just sounds the same, so I don't know if it's about her or not. I was just saying,
I don't either. I've never played Tooty, but I always took it as, like, just Banjo 1.
Yeah,
Banjo 2.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
And then the third one, people were thinking it was going to be called Banjo 3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, witch steals your sister.
Yeah.
And you gotta go save your sister.
Mm-hmm.
So you run out your front door and you meet your kind of your main man, Bottles.
Is he your neighbor or just a dude that hangs out with you? Is
I don't think you've ever met him until this. That first conversation seems like you've never met him.
Yeah, that's what I kind of deduced myself, but
Yeah.
I was maybe thinking there might have been a different story to that. So
I don't think so. I don't know it if there is, but there's really not much story to this game. Bottles is your Q. So Bottles is to Banjo as Q is to James Bond.
Alright.
He's going to give you your tool set and all the stuff you need to like progress in the game.
Yeah, all your moves basically is what he's saying. And what's funny and what I enjoyed most about meeting Bottles in the game was how Kazooie treated Bottles like trash.
They have a pretty Bottles and Kazooie do not like each other.
For some reason they just get off on the wrong page right off the back. So.
Yeah. So what are you going to be doing in this game? In this first area, which is Spiral Mountain, you walk out into Spiral Mountain and Bottles starts giving you moves.
Yep, after he tells you that Tooty just got stolen and or Tooty.
Tooty got stolen.
Got stolen by Gruntilda, and now you need to go save her, and she just points at this giant hill that's in the shape of her face, her ugly face. And he's like, you need to go there. And we're like, yay.
Yep.
And here's like some moves to help you get there, bro.
And this is your tutorial. He gives you the option, hey, do you know how to play, or do you want me to teach you how to play?
Yeah, I accidentally skipped that part. But
I did too, and I did not know how to do it.
I figured it out.
Yeah. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
So he gives you the basic moves like punch, ground pound, jump. There's this flutter jump where you jump in the air and you click A again and Kazooie will come out.
Yeah.
And kind of fly a little bit.
And it's a bear with wings.
Bear with wings. And I think that's pretty much all he gives you in this first area.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
You learn about extra lives here, which are these little golden bear statues.
Yeah, and also honeycombs.
Honeycombs, the empty honeycombs, which eventually add up to an extra life piece.
Yes.
And then the full honeycombs, which replenish one of your life pieces.
Yeah.
And from there, you just make your way up Spiral Mountain. It's this big, windy mountain in the middle of this gorgeous field with a river in it, where Banjo lives. And at the top of this Spiral Mountain, you see Bottles again. He says, hey, meet me in the mountain. I'll teach you more stuff.
Yep. And then you just pedal right on into her.
And then you jump right on into the game.
And
so...
what's this place called? It's just called Gruntilda's Lair, right?
I believe it is just Gruntilda's Lair.
This is just a pathway to all the other areas, basically, is what I understood.
It's your hub world.
Yeah, it's just... yeah. And that's all you're going to do is just be running through there, avoiding a few enemies, and avoiding some obstacles and that kind of stuff, but there's nothing really to collect too much in this area. In these areas.
I guess we can talk about it now. Like, when you're running through Gruntilda's lair, you find these portraits.
Yep.
And one thing you're doing in this game is collecting jiggies, which are these golden puzzle pieces.
Yep.
These jiggies unlock new levels.
Yeah, it's basically you're trying to complete jigsaw puzzles. Yeah, jigsaw puzzles that are creating worlds that you're basically going to go into. Yeah.
So when you walk into the mountain, you turn left. There's actually a slope you can't go up right now.
Yep.
And there's also a jiggy hiding right behind you.
On top of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's these little steps you can climb. There's a jiggy there. But the game is pointing you to your first level, which is going to be Mumbo's Mountain, off to the right.
Yeah.
And so you go off to the right, and I think Mumbo's Mountain is only missing one jigsaw piece or something like that.
So
one or two.
You have it. Somehow you get it. Oh yeah, no, you go to the left and
you get that one.
You get that one,
and then you go and so it's only missing one.
Yeah.
You go complete the picture, and it opens a door.
Yeah, I think it's just gated or a door's closed it off. So and then you enter.
Yeah, so you go down, go in the store, and you enter your first level, which is going to be Mumbo's Mountain. And in Mumbo's Mountain, you're going to be kind of introduced to what you're going to be doing in this game in every level. So you have notes. There are 100 notes in each level. You have jiggies. There are 10 jiggies in each level. You have Jinjos. There are 5 Jinjos in each level. And then I actually don't know how many honeycomb pieces there are in each level.
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't actually end up collecting very many of these.
I didn't collect a lot of stuff like I think I've already mentioned.
Yeah. I have a little dirty secret that I feel like I should probably get off my chest early. I didn't actually finish this game.
Okay.
Yeah, so if that makes you feel any better. I went level by level collecting every jiggy, but when I got to the puzzle at the end,
yeah,
I'll explain it when we get there.
Alright. I hated the puzzle, if that's what you're trying to get at.
We'll talk about it later. We got plenty to talk about later. So Mumbo's Mountain, you're collecting all these things. And kind of for the structure of each of these things, I'm going to go ahead and talk about each jiggy on its own, and then you can kind of chime in if any of these...
What do you mean by... Oh, like where each jiggy is and stuff?
Yeah, I'm just going to give a real quick rundown.
Yeah, and just so the audience knows, I can't, for the life of me, remember wherever jiggy I got was. I was just like, oh, there's one, grabbing it so I can get the hell out of here. Like, it was and like, just... That's kind of my reasoning for playing this game the way that I did. Yeah.
Is how I wanted to structure this episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about each jiggy kind of in passing.
Yeah.
So I found the jiggies that I could in each level, and then when I got stuck, I looked it up and went and collected the rest.
Yeah. I had to look up a few at the end so I could get to the end because I had not collected enough. But those are probably my most memorable ones.
And so the jiggies are there to unlock new worlds. That's why you're collecting them. The musical notes are there to open these gated doors in Gruntilda's lair.
Yeah, and those aren't as hard to find. Those are about almost everywhere. So
yeah, the notes are to Banjo-Kazooie what coins are to Mario.
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
I'm just gonna keep doing this comparison thing, man. I love it.
I'm sure the audience makes it a lot easier for them too.
Yeah,
like
maybe they're probably gonna be like, Tanner, shut the fuck up.
It's not Mario.
Don't you bring Mario into my banjo. Banjo is pure.
What's Kazooie, Luigi?
No, because I want to talk about Kazooie.
Kazooie's the main man, bro.
Kazooie is the main man. Kazooie is not Luigi. So Kazooie is to Banjo what Mario is to Luigi.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Banjo's the useless one.
Shit.
I'll say it.
I thought Luigi was the dude doing all the shit. Mario's just taking all the credit, so...
Nah, I've always taken it as Luigi's the loser and Mario's kind of the main man.
Alright. Fair. I'm just saying, Luigi's over here helping Mario.
Let's get back to Mumbo's Mountain. So, you come into Mumbo's Mountain, and you're kind of just given this free open area. You have a huge slope up to your right, which has a bunch of notes and bunch of stuff on it. You see a Jinjo on top of a block.
Yeah, pink one, if I remember right. This is the area I was like, yeah, I'm going to collect everything. And then I noticed how much
it is
everything
pink,
was.
but the game calls it purple.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the pink one's right there off to your right. You go do a backflip to get up there.
Oh, I slid down.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you can go to the top and just slide right down to it.
Yeah, you can also do one of those backflips and get up there.
Yeah, or frontwards backflip.
Yeah.
It's freaking weird.
Yeah.
It's impressive is what I should say.
But I didn't tackle that hill right away because you can't walk up it immediately.
Okay.
So I went off to the left, and the first Jiggy I got was destroying Congo's blocks, that big monkey on the tree.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to go over there, and he's throwing oranges at you. And from what I remember, there's these switches on the ground, and you have to get an orange to land on the switch.
Yeah. That's what I remember, too.
And after you get an orange to land on the switch, 2 or 3 of them, it gives you a Jiggy. Another one, right there in the same area, is this little monkey wants a orange.
Yeah, and if you get up there, you can climb up the tree and grab one, I believe, right?
Yep. So you climb up the tree that the big monkey's throwing oranges at you. You grab one of his oranges, and you go give it to the little monkey.
Yep.
That gives you Jiggy.
He also teaches you something, I'm pretty... Or, you actually, not him, but there's a mole.
It's after the little monkey.
Yeah, right, but it's up there where the monkey is. There's, Bottles is up there.
Is this where he teaches you how to ground pound?
This is where he teaches you how to egg fire.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and...
Ground pound is one of your basic moves.
I believe so, yeah. Ground pound's taught you at the beginning in Spiral.
So this is egg fire.
Egg firing, or egg fire.
So Bottles has these little molehills around each world where he'll pop out of it and teach Kazooie a new trick. And this is the reason we say Kazooie's the main man, is because Kazooie is doing everything.
Yeah, all the moves being taught are for Kazooie.
Yeah, Kazooie's shooting eggs out of his mouth, out of his butt. He's flying, he's doing backflips, he's slamming his beak into the ground.
Charges, it's freaking...
He's doing all kinds of stuff while Banjo is just...
Mainly muscle.
Not even, like...
When he does his charges and stuff and jumps, you're jumping like as Banjo, and then Kazooie slams down with his wings and his beak.
I don't know. After I got the other move in this world, I was always Kazooie.
Okay. Yep.
So, this first molehill, or I guess you can really do it any order you want, but this one we're talking about, he gives you the ability to shoot eggs out of Kazooie's mouth, and then he also gives you the ability to shoot eggs out of Kazooie's butt.
Yep. And the sound effect for the butt is so gross you almost don't want to use it.
Dude, I was going to bring it up in Fable, but I think this is one of the things I forgot. Maybe I didn't. But this is like the 3rd game in a row that has either like a fart noise or a poop noise.
Yeah.
Like a legitimate sound in the game that is a fart or
like they took it to the bathroom and were like, all right, here's an actual poo for you
Got
guys.
The boom mic on someone pooing,
It's dirty.
So with these eggs that Bottles gives you, you go and shoot the big monkey.
Yeah, and I think you knock him off or he gets upset and he gives you another Jiggy.
Yeah, after 3 hits, I think he just gives you one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of really it for this area. You go up to the right, there's one thing we need to talk about, which are grunty switches. They're just these switches in each world that you can ground pound, and it spawns a Jiggy in Gruntilda's lair somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of those.
Yeah. So you go over there, you hit this switch, and it spawns the Jiggy on top of the hill that you...
Yeah, that one specifically.
It spawns the Jiggy right outside of the world, basically. So after you kind of clear out that area, there's another Jiggy outside of Mumbo, which is also something we should talk about.
Oh, yeah, this is going up the hill now?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Mumbo Jumbo is this skeleton guy in each world who... He's a shaman who transforms you into different creatures.
Yep, using magic from Mumbo Skull, or the...
Mumbo tokens.
Mumbo tokens.
Yeah, which are these little skulls that we said you find around in the world.
Yep.
So you go talk to Mumbo. There's actually a Jiggy right outside of his house in the left eye of the skull.
Yeah.
So you have to do a backflip or whatever to get up there.
It's also a totem that if you shoot eggs into the mouths of the totem, it'll eventually reveal
A Jiggy.
as well.
Yeah, right outside of Mumbo's house, there's this spinning kind of pillar with faces on it.
I think it's called a Jumbo Jum or something.
Jumbo Jum.
Yeah, at the end, we'll tell you more about it, but they give you the names of most of the characters.
Yeah,
all the characters.
The credits to this game are actually pretty cool.
They're cool, but they're long.
Yeah. So you shoot this tower down, it spawns a Jiggy, and then there's also these huts which surround this tower.
Yeah.
And these huts, if you end up ground pounding them all...
that's wrong. I think, unless we're considering ground pound and beak buster differently.
Ground pound and beak buster. So ground pound is what Mario would say.
Yeah.
Beak buster is what Banjo-Kazooie would say.
Yeah. This is where we learn beak buster, actually.
Oh, so this is where we learn it.
Yeah. He right outside also is one of Bottle's mole holes. And if you go and talk to him, he'll teach you how to use Kazooie to ground pound his beak into the ground.
Yeah, so Banjo goes, talks to Bottles, gets this move where he jumps up in the air, does a backflip, and Kazooie comes slamming down with her face into the ground.
Yep.
And around this spinning totem pole are these 6, 5, whatever little huts, straw huts, that you have to do this beak buster on.
Yep.
Things will spawn out of the first 4. I think you get like a couple notes. A Mumbo token.
And a Jinjo.
And oh yeah, Jinjo is there. And then I think one of them spawns an enemy, but the last one will spawn a Jiggy.
Yeah, once you destroy all of them, a Jiggy is spawned, and then you can collect that one.
So there's also, in the middle of this world, there's a giant termite hill. And this is kind of why you come to Mumbo. This is kind of why you're in this area to begin with.
Is it?
Yeah, that's all the Jiggies kind of around Mumbo's house, but you can go into Mumbo's house, and in this world, he transforms you into a termite.
Oh yeah, I did that one. I thought you were saying like there was a story behind why there's a termite hill behind it.
No, I'm just kind of setting up the scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did this too.
Yeah, so you go turn into a termite, and then there's this termite hill in the middle of the world that you have to make your way to, and the slopes in this termite hill... So you go into it, and there's these slopes around the walls. They're too steep for even Kazooie to run on, I think.
Yeah, and if we want to mention that one real quick before we mention anything else, but that's Talon Trot he is talking about. That Kazooie can run up walls and other steep climbs with his claws or talons. Yeah,
so Banjo is actually turned into the backpack, and Kazooie's running around. And this is what I was saying earlier. Once you kind of get the ability to run around as Kazooie, I never play as Banjo.
Okay, yeah, and she is faster than Banjo anyway. Yeah. So
she's faster. I think she jumps higher. She jumps farther.
Yeah, I think if you hold jump it, she just kind of glides a little bit and stuff too.
It's just a quicker way to play the game, and I felt like her controls were much more responsive.
Okay.
So that's kind of my reasoning behind it. Going back to the termite hill. You're this termite, you're in a hill, and you're walking up these steep slopes. And when Mumbo transforms Banjo, he keeps his backpack and his shorts all the time. His yellow shorts and his blue backpack that he keeps Kazooie in. Yeah. And when you're going up this anthill, these ants are like, "Hey, dumbass, give me your backpack or I'll kill you." It's not quite that bad for...
No, it's that bad.
No, we'll get to conquer one of these days.
I hope so.
Oh, we could do it next week.
We'll have to find it.
So, you get to the top of this termite hill and you get a Jiggy. Go back to Mumbo, get transformed. And then, you're onto your... it might not be your last Jiggy. Oh, your last Jiggy is all the Jinjos.
Oh, okay.
So you find all the Jinjos. The 9th Jiggy is you go talk to Bottles around Stonehenge. There's this little Stonehenge kind of formation. You go talk to Bottles and he gives you Talon Trot, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
And all this does, you run around the circle of Stonehenge and you get a Jiggy.
Yeah, and there's like just a steep climb on one of the stone hinges that he has to climb up, and that's why you have to get it so you can get to the top. And
you can't get this jiggy without this move.
Yeah, so and then now you can run up all these steep hills and stuff because there's where Mumbo's skull or Mumbo's little shack is.
It's on top
of a hill that you can run up and that kind of stuff. So makes traversing the area a lot easier.
Yeah, the Talon Trot unlocks this world.
Yeah,
once you can run around as Kazooie, you can really just run up and down these hills.
You can do anything.
Really, you can. Except for the slopes in the Termite Hill. You have to be a termite for those.
Yeah, because those almost become straight.
Yeah.
Like walls.
And termites can almost walk on walls.
So.
And that's pretty much Mumbo's Mountain.
Yeah, it basically is.
You find all 5 Jinjos. I'm not going to go through where they all are.
There's one on the wall.
Yeah, there's
like on the.
We'll tell you where one is, and it's that pink one. It's on the right side as soon as you go.
Oh no, there was another one. I was talking about another one. I swear.
I don't care. There's a couple extra honeycombs in this world.
Yeah, I can't even think of where a honeycomb would be on it.
Actually, it's on one of those steep hills. We didn't talk about it, but there's this bull, a giant bull, that kind of just torments you.
Was there?
Yeah. Yeah, in front of the monkey, there's a giant bull that kind of...
I guess I don't remember. It didn't torment me enough to...
Yeah, you don't do anything.
Be memorable.
You don't do anything with it. It's just kind of there. And once you get Talon Trot, you run up the hill behind it, and there's a honeycomb there. That's one of the first honeycombs If I didn't randomly find the honeycomb, I didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So, there's a bunch of extra lives scattered around the world. But that's pretty much it for Mumbo's Mountain.
I didn't find a lot of extra lives, and if I did, I went through them too quick to even care.
I went in this game thinking I wasn't going to die at all, but then I ended up dying so much.
I died a lot, and sometimes I just die. Like I would all my honeycombs go out, so I could just go back to the beginning because I don't want to be here anymore.
It's like what do they call those in speedrunning? Death warps.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. So after we're done with Mumbo's Mountain, we head out, and now that we have Talon Trot, we can make our way up this steep slope that we weren't able to earlier, and it leads us to this musical note door. And
yep. I don't remember. I think it's 100 or 80, something like that.
I think it's 70. Something
low to where you didn't need all of the musical notes, but you needed to collect a majority, I think.
Yeah, so in Mumbo's Mountain, you need to collect at least so many musical notes so you can make it through this door.
Yeah. And
these doors will become reoccurring. They're kind of level gates.
Yeah.
They make sure you go through each level at least a little bit.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game, I'd say just collect as many musical notes as you see, because that's just going to help you in the long run. And they're easy. You notice them, and they're usually just on long paths that you already have to run. So just make sure you collect as many as possible. That way you don't have to go back like I did a few times.
Yeah, since I was going through this game, I never really had to go back. I ended up with 100 notes in most levels just by collecting all the jiggies.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. If you're collecting already, you're probably going to get all the notes just by being a collector. Collecting jiggies and Jinjos and all of them. And, the next area was really tedious to get a lot of the, other extra items and stuff. But we'll get there in a sec.
There's also this mechanic in Gruntilda's lair that there's these switches scattered throughout the lair that you have to beak bust to activate the switch to the portrait so you can activate the level.
Yeah.
I don't think the next level has one of those, but just know that they're scattered in there, that sometimes you'll find a switch that you have to hit to go to the next area.
Oh yeah, I remember a couple of those switches, so...
Yeah, so the next area is actually Treasure Trove Cove.
Yeah.
So the gimmick... There wasn't really a gimmick to Mumbo's Mountain. It was kind of just first green area.
Yeah, it's just kind of a mountain. More of a valley.
Valley to mountain.
Yeah.
This area is your pirate area.
Yeah. Yep. All just like a big beach bay.
Big beach bay.
Big bay beach.
Yeah. Watch your words there. This area, there's a couple lampposts. There's a pirate ship. There is a giant spire cave. A bunch of water.
A giant not a crab, but it's a... what are they called?
Hermit crab? Hermit crab.
Yeah, big ass hermit crab.
It's a giant hermit crab whose name escaped Snippers.
Snips or Snippers, something like that.
It's Snip something.
Yeah.
So
Snips, Snipper, Snippleton.
Nippers.
Oh, okay.
Which Nippers, I don't feel like saying that word too much. So this area, there's a couple new moves you get in this area. You unlock flight. You climb to the top of the pirate ship, talk to bottles, and you get flight.
And you also find a new collectible item that isn't like you have to. It's just for this flight move.
You pick up ammo for your flight.
Just like you pick up ammo for your egg firing as well.
Yeah, so you find eggs and feathers scattered around the world. There's red feathers for flight. Eggs are just blue things. And then eventually we get to gold feathers, but we'll get to that when we come upon Clanker's Cavern. So in Treasure Trove Cove, after flight, you get the jump. Kazooie can also do this giant leap.
Yep.
So there's these green pads that you hold A on. Kazooie leaps into the air, slams down, and then does this giant jump.
Yeah.
The flying also has pads that have red feathers on them.
Yeah.
So you have to find these pads to be able to do these abilities.
Yeah.
You can't... I just wanted to clear that up so we can't just say we do them anywhere.
Yeah.
They can only be done in certain spots. And that's kind of how... I think those are the only moves you find in this world, and that's how you kind of navigate around it. That's how a lot of these jiggies, their puzzles are kind of brought in. So, of course, there's the top of the world jiggy. You climb all the way up.
Yeah, all the way up.
You have to fly.
I just flew.
I mean,
once you get flight, you can just go right up there, so... Yeah. As long as you have enough feathers, at least.
So the flying mechanic, you jump into the air and you fly, and every time you click A, Kazooie will flap her wings. Flap her wings and go a little bit higher. So you keep clicking A until you're at the top of the lighthouse in this world. And there's a jiggy up there.
Yep.
On the pirate ship we were talking about, there's this guy that you meet. His name is Blubber.
Yeah.
He is a walrus, I believe?
I can't quite recall.
Walrus or seal. He's some kind of...
Some animal.
Aquatic gray creature.
Yeah, that's all I really remember. I just remember him in a pirate outfit and being gray.
Yeah, and he's a pirate and he's sad because he lost his gold.
Okay, yeah, I did this one.
And what do you do?
I went into the water and there's a hole underneath.
Yep.
And then I think they're just sitting there. The gold's just sitting in there, I believe.
Yeah, and this is kind of where you learn to kind of swim underwater. I think.
Well, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, this is the first, water encounter. Other than in the first area, if you did... No, you did it in the first area to get some notes and stuff.
Yeah, so you can swim underwater, and in this sunken pirate ship, there's 2 treasure piles that you have to pick up and go give back to... What was his name?
I can't recall. You said
Blubber.
but...
Blubber.
Okay.
So you have to give Blubber his gold back, and he'll give you a jiggy, which is weird, because it's like gold for gold, right?
Yeah.
Because jiggies look like they're made out of solid gold.
But maybe they're not worth as much?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, quantity of gold? I don't know.
Another jiggy, we were talking about this giant hermit crab.
Yeah, I didn't even mess with him. He just kept snipping me. So.
Oh, you didn't mess with him?
Yeah.
So you can...
I didn't know what to do.
Kazooie has this move where you jump in the air and he pecks.
Okay.
So you jump in the air and you peck him in the face 3 times, and he goes into his shell.
Okay.
And then you go into his shell, and at the very end of his shell, because you kind of do this spiral thing.
Yeah.
There's a jiggy down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I pecked him once, and then he hit me, and I was like, well, I don't know if I even did damage to him, so...
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know. I was like, and I'm almost dead, and I don't really want to restart this level. And
I was having a hard time remembering if I could fight him or not. There's this move where you crouch down and Kazooie does a thrusting move.
Yeah.
Where he shoots himself straight forward and slams into stuff. And I thought you had to do that. I couldn't time it right. So this is one that I came back to after I read the walkthrough.
Okay.
After you defeat Nipper, there is a jiggy where you fly around the whole world on these flying pads.
Yeah, and hit the X marks?
Yeah.
Yep, I did that.
So there's these giant X's because it's a pirate-themed map.
Yep.
So X marks the spot, you ground pound on these X's, and then it will spawn an arrow.
Yeah, and then you just follow the arrow, and it basically just leads you to another pad.
Yeah, where eventually you have to smash a chest.
Yeah.
And there's a Jiggy inside of it.
There's also a Jinjo underneath the dock that you're first spawn on when you first come into this world.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's blue Jinjo.
And if you try and go after this Jinjo, a shark will come after you.
Oh yeah, if you're in the water at all, in the ocean part of the water at all, like a shark just appears. And
not even in the ocean part of it, like anywhere in this world, yeah.
I thought.
I guess not the little lakes above.
Yeah, there's little like ponds on and
yeah.
stuff in the sand, but like just ocean basically has the shark in it, and it will always appear if you're in it.
Yeah.
For at least like 2 seconds.
Another Jiggy is in this chest that you have to fly to. So you fly up under this archway, and there's a chest. Fly in there, there's a Jiggy. There is a Jiggy on this tower.
Oh, I want to mention these chests. They'll appear eventually some more, just a little bit. They suck. They have teeth on them. They're opening and closing.
Yeah.
I did not realize until later into the game that if you're running around as Kazooie, it's a lot easier to jump in and out of those chests.
Yeah.
When you're Banjo, you typically just get munched. But I think it has to do with the speed of Kazooie. He's jumping she's jumping in and out of it so quick that it doesn't chomp you.
Yeah.
But Banjo's just a fat bear and just gets grabbed.
You can get in these with a well-timed backflip too.
Or that, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. You can't not get in without getting bit. It's just I was trying to jump in there. I was just getting ate every time.
Yeah. So. Getting munched on by a chest to get a Jiggy.
Yeah, and when you have to get Jiggies in them, it's not very fun. So, use Kazooie.
I believe this is the first time. First and last.
What?
I think this is the only Jiggy in a chest, isn't it?
Oh, it might be. I don't remember another.
Chest.
I don't remember another one. I know there's Mumbos and other stuff in chests later on.
There's also another Jiggy that you have to use your jump ability for. You use these green jump pads to jump across a couple pillars, and there's a Jiggy up in an alcove on the side of a hill.
I don't think I remember that one.
Yeah.
I do remember one at the bottom of one of those little pools.
We should have covered that back when we were talking about these pools. The little pools that are around the world, there's a Jiggy at the bottom of one of them, which is guarded by a bomb.
I think so, and the bomb's like, everything in this world is living. Usually, most objects in this world is living.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah, so there's this giant animate bomb
Yeah.
that will come after you.
Yeah, it's just kind of trying to, like, push towards you.
But it doesn't go under the water.
Oh, it doesn't? The bomb? Yeah, it's like one of those submarine, like, floating, like, bombs that they had in the water, so.
And then I believe the last Jiggy is find all the Jinjos.
Yeah, I can't recall any others right off the top of my head.
So this world I want to speak to you about a little bit, because there's this thing in Banjo-Kazooie called Stop and Swap. There are these eggs and an ice key that you have to find in the game.
So, yeah, I heard a little bit about this, and I believe one of the eggs is in this world, right?
Yeah, I don't know what color egg, but one of the eggs, you have to fly out to this little island, and you have to jump up this spire that has these holes cut out of it, and you have to jump from hole to hole, and it's a pain in the ass. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And to get this egg, which will later be used for something, but not until Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
In the original Banjo-Kazooie, these didn't do anything.
Like, at all?
At all.
Just collectibles?
At all.
Like,
yeah. They say, hey, keep this, they'll be important later. And then Rare never did anything with this until the third game.
Oh, alright. So that probably wasn't their original plan. They probably planned to do something in 2, but then they forgot about it.
I believe.
And then everyone probably may have bitched about it.
Yes.
And then they were like, okay, here's it in 3.
It was a little bit of a gaming conspiracy. Like, what is Stop and Swap? Because there's these items in this game that literally don't do anything.
So, I didn't get all the Jiggies, but I did watch a video after I beat the game that showed me what happens if you do get all the jiggies. At the end, there's an extra cutscene that you get a video that shows you where all these things are, and they're telling you about this stuff too, and everything like that. So
they're building it up.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this is important.
Yeah.
And Banjo has these little one-liners that he'll say.
In the new game, though, because I was playing the refurbished version, they do mention that it's coming in Nuts and Bolts. They don't say it's coming later. They say in Nuts and Bolts this will have something to do.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and this is in the new one though. I'm assuming the original.
So imagine back in 1998.
Yeah, it's just saying it will have something to do. It's like, I collected them,
and then all these do in Nuts and Bolts is unlock cosmetic vehicle parts.
Really? So they're like freaking pointless.
They're really pointless, and it really made a lot of people mad, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you can't do too much more than that, but like, come on, like you missed out, and then now you have to go above and beyond.
You built this one. You built this thing up, and
then you forgot about it in the second one. And you're like, oh hey, here it is in the third one, but it's like trash. What's going on there? Like,
that's what I imagine Half-Life 3 is going to be like.
I don't know anything about Half-Life.
It's just everybody has built up this
like hype for it.
Yeah, and then if it ever comes out, which I doubt it will, they're just gonna be like, "This is shit."
Has it just been in the making for a long time?
No, I don't think they're even developing it. It's just people in Half-Life 2. They were alluding. They set the story up for another game that they just never went on to make.
Oh, all right. So yeah, it sounds a little bit like that.
Anyways, you collect this egg, and that's pretty much it for Treasure Trove Cove.
Yep.
Head on out back into Gruntilda's lair, and the Grunty switch in Treasure Trove Cove actually will shoot this cannon, which will shoot a Jiggy out.
Where was that? I think that was at the top, right? At the very top?
It was on the lighthouse somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's at the very top next to, or somewhere
it's
near
climbing. It's on the side climbing up the lighthouse.
Okay, yeah, I got that one too. Yeah. I didn't get all of them. I think that was probably the second out of 4 maybe I got.
Yeah. So, now we're headed off to Clinker's Cavern.
Okay. Yeah, this place I hated.
And Gruntilda's lair, I want to kind of talk about. Like, I had a hard time finding my way around here a little bit.
I ended up finding that anytime you see a hole, run into it, because it's maybe a place that you can go to. And that typically turned out to be true. So
that's generally for any game.
I don't know, because it's like, I thought, like, there was just sewage pipes. Like how you get to Clinker's place. There's water coming out of the sewage pipe. I'm like, I can just go into this pipe. And then you find out, and even when you get in Clinkers, we'll mention later in Clinkers, how you get in Clinker.
Yeah.
You go through his gills.
Okay,
right?
so you kind of... I played this game back in the day, so I kind of just knew.
Yeah, and I'm not used to these old games where it's just like, a hole could be a place to enter. It's usually they're labeled a little bit better than that, typically.
Or it's real obvious.
Or it's real obvious. They kind of made it a little bit mysterious, and as this is an area you can enter. And that was fine with me, because it made it more adventurous and fun.
I was going to say, like I almost wish I didn't know that, so I could have that little...
Yeah, it was very like, oh shit, this is a place I can enter? Oh fuck. And then I'm like running around all these places. Yeah.
So you go in this tube, and in this area, there's a giant water pit with a bomb in it, and you have to raise a couple pipes to cross over into Clinker's Cavern.
Yeah.
And when you first get into Clinker's Cavern, you're in this area. Not a whole lot going on. There's a pillar in the middle of it. There's a crab.
And then there's some broken grates, I believe, up on this little rock. And
I believe there's a Jinjo in here too. But there is no Jiggy in this area, so there's really no reason to be here.
No, just now we go into the water.
Yeah, so you go into the water, and you start swimming, and you see that there's this tunnel. Go in this tunnel, and you start talking to this giant metal fish.
After you swim through this really long tunnel, like, you might lose half your breath. I was like, is this ever going to end when I went through it?
Yeah, I didn't really... There's an even longer tunnel later.
I mean, yeah, but...
So, Clinker talks to you. He says, hey, help me surface. Why does he want to surface? He can't breathe or something?
Yeah, he wants to breathe the normal air, or oxygen again. He hasn't breathed it in so long.
Because he's tied down by a chain.
In sewage water.
Yeah. He is actually Gruntilda's trash compactor.
Is that what he says? Or we get some sort of lore out of that somewhere?
Yeah, it says that somewhere. I think Clanker might tell you. or Gruntilda. I'm going to say Grunty from now on. She comes in and she'll kind of tell you things from now on, so she might even say it.
Yeah.
But in Clanker's Cavern, it's just a giant underwater level.
Yeah.
And man, underwater levels are never good in games.
Yeah, I probably died, from loss of oxygen about 6-7 times in this map, maybe even more.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. Probably 3 or 4, but it's still quite a bit. Right away, you want to race Clanker. That's kind of your main goal when you enter this area.
Yeah, that's what he wants you to do. I adventured a little bit because I wanted to see, because of course you need to get jiggies and notes, and I knew I needed a little bit, so I was searching. And then I also was looking for how you raise them, and I didn't see it right off the back, but it also didn't click in my mind that what I needed to do was lead me right to it.
Yeah. This was actually the first thing I did because it leads you right to it.
It didn't click, alright?
He says, hey, raise me, and then there's this chain that you swim down, and Clanker's actually stuck to this giant anvil with a key in it. And your main goal is to swim through this giant key 3 times, and when you swim through it 3 times, a jiggy will pop out. But swimming through it 3 times seems simple enough, but the underwater mechanics in this game aren't great.
You had to swim through it 3 times?
What did you do?
I swam till I stopped right inside of it, and then it just registers you as just in it.
Yeah.
So I just, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, you probably just kind of waddled back and forth.
Something happened to where it just registered it as it kept going, and I never had to swim 3 times through it. And if I did, I probably would have never got through that level, because I was still almost dying while trying to do that.
Yeah, I bet you were just kind of in the hitbox for it, and it was just alright, when it came back around.
Yeah.
So once you swim through this key 3 times, it will turn and it will unlock Clanker and raise him. But the whole time you're underwater and you're having to breathe, so there's this fish named Glubber, Blubber, Blobber, Blibber. I don't know. And he's breathing air bubbles for you, so you kind of gotta swim.
I said, fuck him. He was too hard to get the bubbles. For me at least, for my swimming mechanic skills.
Yeah, there's 2 speeds in Banjo swimming. Big, long strokes with
Kazooie's,
wings.
Strides, yeah.
Or really slow with Banjo's little kicks with his feet. And together it just didn't work out. I ended up dying a lot. It's just not very accurate.
I found out if you hug the walls a lot, it helps. Just kind of control.
Yeah, it helps you aim.
Yeah. Because you can still hit those walls and still have that kind of speed. It doesn't slow you down.
So there's also a Jinjo down here. Grab the Jinjo. Head back up.
I did not, but yeah, I was also air.
So Clanker thanks you, and a Jiggy spawns on his back, I believe.
Yeah. That, or there's already a Jiggy floating there. One of the 2.
Well, yeah. So you grab the Jiggy, and then really the whole level's unlocked at this point.
Yeah. Because
Clanker, he has a few Jiggies around him.
Inside of him. I think there's one inside of him, too.
Yeah, there's several, but there's a Jiggy off to the side here in a long pipe you gotta swim through. This was the long tunnel I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
You barely have enough time to swim all the way through it, grab the Jiggy, and swim out, and you're on 1 honeycomb when you're done.
Okay.
So there's a Jiggy down there. Up on the wall, so when you raise Clanker, he has a blowhole.
Yeah.
And his blowhole has a cork in it.
A nut or a bolt?
A bolt, yeah. And every time he breathes out, he shoots this bolt into the air, which is a platform that you can ride up.
Yep. And there's just a Jiggy sitting up there, I believe, after you walk across the platform.
Yeah, it's kind of like the top of the world Jiggy.
Yeah.
So you go get that Jiggy. From here, you can kind of see that on the opposite wall behind Clanker, there is an alcove in the wall.
Yeah. And
you go in there, and there's these, I believe they're mutated snippers.
So, they're
like muty snips.
They're the glowing ones, but crab style.
The glow. That's a Fallout reference for anybody who didn't catch that. So you go and you beat these crabs to a pulp.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 of them in there.
Yeah. something like that, and then they give you a Jiggy. They say, oh, you beat us, here's a Jiggy. And then, at this point, I think we can kind of head inside Clanker and clean up the Jiggies in there.
Yeah, I don't remember too many outside. There might have been some Mumbos and some other Jinjos, but...
Yeah, there's Mumbo tokens and Jinjos just kind of spread around.
Because I know on the walls there's like pipes you can climb and other stuff like other platforms. There's these like creatures that jump out of the wall at you and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
I don't even know what they are. Like giant worm things.
Yeah, giant sewage monsters that pop out of the wall and try and snap at you.
Yeah, so and you can kill them by doing like what Tanner was saying earlier, those that flying peck move, or maybe even that bird thrust. It's hard to time the bird thrust, I think. It's easier to do that bird peck. Yeah. That flying peck, what Kazooie will do.
Yeah, jump in the air, peck the air, and then it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, if you talk to Clanker, I think he mentioned something about his teeth hurting.
Oh, I just happened to notice a glowing tooth.
Really?
Like, it's like semi-shimmering. And I was just like, hey, I can shoot that with an egg.
Yeah. So you shoot his teeth with an egg. One side has a Mumbo token and one side has a Jiggy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was two sides. I just hit one.
Oh, you got the Jiggy?
I got the Jiggy side.
Nice, so you got lucky. So you grab that Jiggy, and inside of Clanker, there's actually a bottle move.
Yeah, Bottles has a move for you.
The inside of Clanker is just a mess, though. I hated this.
Yeah,
there's like these. It's dirty. It's fleshy, which doesn't make sense because he's metal on the outside.
Maybe he's a giant shark.
He's like a cyborg shark.
Yeah, cyborg.
And there's these little whip things that will slap you, and they're just annoying. They'll come back in a later level.
Mm-hmm. A couple levels, I think.
Yeah. So inside Clanker, you get this move from Bottles, which Bottles teaches you how to go invincible.
Which is called Wonder Wing.
Wonder Wing. Sounds like some crappy Marvel character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Wing.
That's what Kazooie's secret identity is named.
Kazooie the superhero. So this move, it's kind of messed up. Kazooie like comes out of the backpack and covers Banjo with his wings.
Yeah, just kind of like hugs his face, basically.
So, does that mean that Kazooie's invulnerable? Kazooie can just take shit.
As long as he has golden wings.
Yeah, Kazooie's just a superhero.
Because these are the new items you have to collect now are golden wings instead of the red wings you were collecting originally for the flight.
Yeah.
So, and I think you can hold 10. And I think every time you do invincibility, it consumes 1.
Yeah. Well, it consumes a wing a second.
Oh, okay. So you can get up to 10 seconds of invincibility as long as you have enough wings, I believe?
Yep.
Alright.
And when Bottles teaches you this move, there's a bunch of spinning saw blades in the inside of Clanker, and you have to run through them with Wonder Wing.
Which you are unscathed.
Yep, unscathed. Run through it, grab Jiggy, run back. You good.
Yep, and I think that's about all I did in this place. I didn't really search around too much more.
There's another Jiggy where you have to swim and kind of jump through these rings.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So you just swim and jump through some rings, and you get a Jiggy for it.
And that's not too hard. It's just, like, I barely made it in time. I think it's just kind of designed that way. If you hit them all pretty decently, you'll make it in time. So
yeah, and then there's also, if you go in Clanker's blowhole, so when the screw goes flying up, if you drop into Clanker's blowhole, there is another Jiggy behind some slower moving blades that you can just walk through.
Oh, yeah, I did not see that one.
Yeah, and then I believe the last Jiggy in this area is finding all the Jinjos.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I didn't really... Clanker's Cavern was not my favorite, but it was not my least favorite world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but, I mean...
It's not the worst one, but it's not my most favorite. It was
my least favorite, probably.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's probably... things I disliked about a lot of the other ones, but I think this one, just because of the swimming, like, it literally pissed me off. Like,
my least favorite thing about this game, like, not to be all negative, I love this game, it's fun to still go back and play it, is not even in one of the levels. It's in Gruntilda's lair, and we'll get to it. It's just...
one of the things you like the most about it?
No, one of the things I hate the most about it.
Oh, okay.
Is in Gruntilda's lair. After Clinker's Cavern, we are headed to Bubble Gloop Swamp, which I believe this is probably my least favorite level in the game.
It was annoying for sure, but I also didn't stick around for too long once I found out that there was only one Bottles move to use or find out, so...
So Bottles moves are really the only necessary things in the game, as long as you can stretch your jiggies and your notes to open all the doors and levels.
And at this point, I was able to.
So what Doty's doing is he's scraping by. He's getting barely enough notes to open the note doors, getting barely enough jiggies to fill in the portraits.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I did go in here and I searched a little bit, just enough to find, like, the easy ones, the simple ones. And
what I'm doing... Your dedicated podcast host, who didn't finish the game, is going through and collecting everything. But in Bubble Gloop Swamp, there is this poison water that will hurt you.
I thought it was piranha water.
That makes sense.
I think it was piranhas
Is it piranha?
or something like that. Like you get ate up if you fell in the water.
That makes sense.
But,
so there's this piranha water.
Yeah.
Bottles is actually right behind the entrance gate to this level.
Yeah.
And he teaches you how to wear boots.
Yeah, it's called Stilt Stride.
Stilt Stride. So this is where Kazooie will put on these tall green wading boots.
Yep, just some rubber boots.
And it allows her to kind of make her way through dangerous terrain.
Yeah, but she's hurt by speed, so now she's a bit slower. Kind of about as fast as Banjo, maybe a bit faster.
And I would like to say, did we ever talk about the music?
What music?
The music of the game?
I don't think we did.
Well, the music of this game was composed by Grant Kirkhope. And he is credited saying that this was, like, his favorite game to work on.
Okay.
Like, he had so much fun making this music that in an interview that he had later in life, he got all teary-eyed about it.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
He really loved this game. And tying the music back into the boots, when you put the boots on, it just gives you some goofy, like... I can't even. It's such a goofy, like...
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Now that you're doing that, I can hear it. And
yeah.
It's like the title screen, like, sound and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. It's just real goofy. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
But it gives a real goofy feeling to these boots. So, in Bubble Gloop Swamp, there is a turtle.
And an alligator?
And an alligator.
Yeah. Or crocodile. One of the two.
Crocodile, yeah. And there is also a Mumbo.
Oh, a Mumbo
house,
Shack, yeah.
The Mumbo Shack. Of course, 5 Jinjos, 10 Jiggies, 100 notes.
Yep.
And
I don't remember doing the Mumbo Shack on this one. What do you turn into on this one?
Actually, you know what? That is a good segue because I fucking hated this. You turn into an alligator.
Oh, really?
You turn into a little alligator, and what you do with this alligator is, you know the big crocodile?
Yeah.
So in the overworld of Bubble Gloop Swamp, there's a big crocodile, we were saying, and you have to go in his nose. And in this giant crocodile, there's a smaller crocodile who challenges you to an eating contest. So you have to run around and eat these little, I guess, bugs that are popping out of the ground.
Okay.
You have to do 3 levels of this. The 3rd level is the hard level, and there's 2 different types of bugs, and they switch which bug you have to eat.
Oh, so you have to eat specific ones. Okay.
And this crocodile, I think his name is Croctus. He has a rubber banding effect on him.
Okay.
Where if you are beating him, he will run super fast. So he tries to make it even, but if you are not eating a bug nearly every second of this game, you will lose.
Okay.
And it's terrible.
I bet.
I fucking hate it.
But you got it.
Yep,
right?
Right. Yeah, beat that bitch, and I got the Jiggy.
Woo.
So I think there's only one more thing that you really have to do with the crocodile, and that's go get a Jinjo.
Okay.
There's this area of the swamp that you cannot get in if you're Banjo. So you hop in it as a crocodile, and you can grab this Jinjo.
Alright.
So other than that, I think you go back to Mumbo, switch back into a bear and a bird.
Is that the only way you can switch back? I think, right? Or do you run out of time when you switch? Is there a time limit when you switch?
No, not in the levels. The only thing that will switch you back is Mumbo or being too far away from Mumbo, because you can leave the world as a transformed Banjo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's actually how you earn the cheats in this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's these secret little areas that if you leave the world as a transformed Banjo, that you can go to, that there will be this giant cheat book that floats.
I think his name's Cheeto.
Cheeto. His name is Cheeto.
and he is not the spokesperson for Cheetos.
You talking about Chester?
Oh, yeah. No, I thought they named him Cheeto.
So he will give you these spells that you can go type in the sandcastle, which we didn't talk about. We missed a Jiggy back in Treasure Trove Cove.
Did we?
Yeah, so you have to fix the leaky bucket with your eggs, and then it drains a water pond that leads to the sandcastle.
Okay.
Go in the sandcastle. It's a room with a bunch of letters on the floor, and you have to spell out Banjo-Kazooie by ground pounding them.
Okay.
Ground pounding these letters, and when you do that, it opens a gate. A crab comes out, you fight the crab, and you get a Jiggy for it.
Alright.
This room also doubles as the cheat room.
Okay.
So go talk to Cheeto, get a cheat, go back to Treasure Trove Cove, and go type the cheat in down there, and it will work. And it's just stuff like blue eggs, red feathers, gold feathers.
Oh, okay, so you just change colors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it will just give you ammunition for all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all you have to do with the alligator.
Alright.
And back to go Bubble Gloop Swamp. There is a Jiggy for in the middle of the world. There's an area where these yellow frogs.
I think they're orange and black, kind of like poisonous frogs.
I think they're orange and black later.
Oh, maybe. I thought they were orange and black now.
Some color of frog comes out at you, and you have to beat a certain number of these things.
Okay.
And it gives you a Jiggy.
I don't remember that, I guess. Maybe I didn't beat enough frogs, because I think I passed some of them, because I was like, screw beating these frogs. They're killing me.
If you continue to kill them, you'll get a Jiggy for it.
Okay. Once you pass those frogs, there's a giant egg sitting on a little island in the water, right?
Yeah, and this egg, you can work your way around it.
Yeah.
Because there's this floating leaf in the poison.
Or piranha water.
Yeah, piranha water, whatever. So, catch a floating leaf, go and break this egg, get a Jiggy for it.
Yeah. You gotta hit it on its X. X marks.
And then there's another, so the giant turtle we talked about.
Yeah, I didn't mess with him much.
You have to go ground pound on his flippers.
Okay.
And he will spit up a Jiggy.
Alright.
Inside of the turtle, because you can go in his shell once he retracts into his shell after you beat up his legs.
Okay.
There is a turtle choir in there.
Nice.
Yeah, Tip Tup's choir. And so this composer will play a song, and then you have to go ground pound these turtles to play the song back to them.
Alright.
Get a Jiggy for it. Kind of reminiscent of Mumbo's Mountain. There are these huts on these pillars.
Okay.
Did you do that?
I don't recall.
Where you ground pound them?
I don't recall.
Oh, yeah, you didn't spend too much time in this level.
I didn't.
Okay.
So I might not have even encountered them.
So like the huts around the totem pole in Mumbo's Mountain,
okay,
there are huts that you have to use Kazooie's jump to get to.
Yeah.
Jump, pound them. The last one gives you a Jiggy.
Yeah.
And then I think I misspoke, actually. So the alligator that we went into earlier was not Croctus. I think his name is actually Mr. Vile.
Oh, yeah?
So you go beat Mr. Vile and you get a Jiggy for it. But Croctus are these golden statues that are around the world.
Okay.
You have to shoot a couple eggs into the mouth. And once you do that to all the statues, it will give you a Jiggy.
Alright.
There's also a switch that you have to hit. Hit the switch, the Jiggy pops up, and you have to run to it.
Alright.
And it's kind of over these bridges that kind of go back and forth, so it's just a little bit of a platforming challenge. Not that bad. And then the last one, again, is going to be to find all the Jinjos.
Yeah.
So that is Bubble Gloop Swamp. I am glad to be out of there because fuck that world.
There wasn't a grunty switch or anything like that?
There's a grunty switch. It is in one of the huts that you were smashing, or that I smashed.
Yeah. I said, fuck that.
So, leaving Bubble Gloop Swamp, we are headed to the next area, which is going to be Freeze Easy Peak. And actually, you get to this world by going through the tunnel behind Bubble Gloop Swamp. You remember that?
Kinda.
There is a tunnel with piranha water that you have to...
Oh, you have to use the boots that you finally got. Okay, yeah.
Or you can alligator. You can come out here and use an alligator to go through it.
Oh, okay, because they don't affect you. Alright.
Yeah. So you go in there, that's where the portrait is, and then you head up another floor and you're headed to Freeze Easy Peak, which is the ice level.
Yeah, I enjoyed this level. I liked it because it's Christmassy, and I like Christmas. So
yeah. So my wife, she has this thing about Christmas in July, which I guess if we're dating this, we played this in July. She was like, yes, Christmas in July, when I got to this level.
Why? Because it's like 6 months away? It's like the middle
It's like
of
half Christmas for her.
Okay.
So, this was perfect.
That's cool.
We go to Freeze Easy Peak, and this world, you learn a couple moves here?
Do you?
Or just one?
I think one. I know you learn how to run in this one.
No, you don't. You learn to run in Gobi Valley.
But you do the running one against the...
I know, but you have to go to Gobi Valley and come back.
Maybe I came back to get that, because you get a Jiggy after it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I came back after and did it.
I remember now. What is here is, though, attacking when you can fly. So you're flying and you can attack in the air.
Yeah, you learn the attack move, okay.
So what this is you go... When Kazooie's flying through the air, she can kind of shoot herself like a homing missile.
Yeah.
And there's these giant snowmen in this world that have X's on their hats. And you have to hit these X's to kill the snowmen.
Oh, I didn't even mess with the snowman killing them.
Yeah.
I did use that to attack the giant snowman that's in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
It's just a statue, but you have to hit... His belly buttons are literally target shapes, or just targets, the traditional white, red, blue kind of rings.
Yeah.
And if you hit all three of them, I believe, it makes a Jiggy appear somewhere. I think it's on top of its hat.
No, it's actually between its legs.
Oh, okay.
So that's one Jiggy. There is a Jiggy in the snowman's pipe.
That too, I got that one. Because after I did that, I also flew up to his nose. Where there's another flight area, but there's also, you can jump into his pipe from there too. Yeah.
And while we're on top of the snowman, there's actually a sled. The snowman is wearing a scarf, and there's a sled on the top of the scarf.
Yeah.
And when Banjo hops on this sled, you go shooting down this giant ramp.
Yep.
And you land on this bear.
Yeah, that you had encountered earlier, and what he had told you was that his tummy was hurting because he had eaten a shiny metal thing.
And you know what will fix that? A sled slamming on top of you.
Yeah, giant slam in the belly.
And he pukes up a Jiggy for you.
Doing one of them nasty-ass regurgitate sounds.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't like this bear too much. He kind of pissed me off a couple times.
Yeah, why? Because of what you have to do later? Or?
It was more the race that pissed me off.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I didn't like the race.
Speaking of the race, there's another Jiggy for once you help this bear, which his name is Boggy.
Yep.
Once you help Boggy, he wants to race you.
Yep, but do you race him as...
You race him as... What does Mumbo turn you into?
Mumbo turns you into a seal.
You race him as the seal first.
Yeah, I've done both. I did both of them. I just thought I did Kazooie before the seal.
You didn't.
Okay.
So Mumbo turns you into a seal, and you race Boggy once.
Okay.
And then I believe I mean, strike me down if I'm wrong, internet. You go to Gobi Valley. That's where you get the running shoes at the pyramid. And then you go back to Freezeezy Peak, and you race Boggy again.
Okay.
With the running shoes. And so you beat Boggy twice. You get 2 Jiggies.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's coming back to me.
You know what? He doesn't turn you into a seal. He turns you into a walrus.
Or, yeah, a walrus. That's what it is.
Because you have to go talk to the other walrus.
Alright.
So you go talk to this walrus, and he gives you a Jiggy because Mumbo transformed you into a walrus.
I don't think I talked to that one. I might have, but I don't remember it.
He's like, hey, you're a walrus. I'm a walrus. Let's share this Jiggy.
Nice. Is it like kind of like the rock sharing thing? Like
I don't know.
I don't think walruses share rocks, nor do they share their women.
What?
Oh, they're just very protective of who they like mate with.
Oh.
Is what I meant by that. Walrus stuff for you.
So, kind of retroactively going back to the snowman.
Yeah.
If you kill all the snowman, you get a Jiggy for it.
Okay.
And then there is also a Christmas tree in this world.
Yeah, I kind of liked this / hated this little mission that you had to do.
I fucking hated it, dude. This sucked.
It was funny, but it also got tedious and annoying after a minute.
So, in this mission, you're helping Christmas lights get onto the Christmas tree, but they're being attacked by light munchers.
I think that's what they called them, but they look like these little dinosaur things.
They're little dinosaurs that pop out of the ground and
just eat them.
Eat the light bulbs.
There's 3 of them, 3 holes that they could pop out of, and you have to attack them before they munch your light bulbs. And light bulbs
Can you just attack them?
Yeah.
I ground pounded them all.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, that would have made it so much easier.
Yeah, if they pop out, you just attack them real quick.
Oh, I did not do that. I ground pounded them all. Because I thought you had to jump on top, ground pound them.
Yeah, no.
Wow. That would have made it much more bearable.
Yeah, it was a bit easier that way, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, I didn't love Freezeezy Peak.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but it was also because more the scenery rather than... It's also the mansion, or the haunted one that we'll get to is one of the ones I liked as well. But that's because I enjoy Halloween a bit, too.
Well, let's get through this one. So,
I think that's about it. After you put the light bulbs on...
there's a Jiggy that spawns at the top of the tree.
Yep.
And then, actually speaking of, inside of the tree, there's a present. And around this world, there are 3 presents that you have to find.
Yep.
And take them back to Boggy's kids.
Yeah, I don't know if they have names. We'll just call them Boggy's kids.
Boggy's kids. And you give Boggy's kids presents, and they're like, oh, here's a Jiggy for you. You need something too. And then, I believe the last Jiggy is the Jinjos.
Yeah, maybe.
Which, I had a pain. I can't remember which Jinjo it was. Oh, it was... I forgot to look in Mumbo's house for this Jinjo.
Oh, Mumbo's house has a Jinjo?
Yeah, I could not find this for the life of me. I got everything else in Freezeezy Peak except for this Jinjo, and then I was like, what do I do? So...
You Google it.
We kind of foreshadowed this a little bit, but after Freezeezy Peak, which we should give credit, I think Freezeezy Peak shows up on, like, everybody's top 10 ice levels ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed it, so, I mean...
It's a great level.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It just annoyed me.
Yeah.
So, going to Gobi Valley, which we talked a little bit about.
Yep. Just a little bit.
Yeah, Gobi Valley is the desert level in Banjo-Kazooie.
I think I tried to avoid this level a little bit. As much as I could. Like, so... I think I just ran in here and did, like, bits and pieces of it.
I like this one quite a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't like wet levels, but I like dry levels.
And I think I'm the opposite. Like, the dryness of it and just the pure yellow was like, I want to be out of here. I don't really like
why, man? We're green desert. It feels like home, bro.
I'm sorry. I wanted more green in my yellow.
Anyways, so in Gobi's Valley, it is what you would expect. There's pyramids everywhere. There's a Sphinx statue. There's cactuses. There's a camel.
Can you call it a Sphinx? I mean,
it's a dog.
It was a dog.
A dinks.
Yeah.
Anyways, when you come into the level, you talk to this tree. What is this tree's name? Trunker. So you talk to Trunker, and he needs water. You won't be able to help him for a little while, but you head into the level, and there's a bunch of pyramids everywhere that you can go into, and several of these have jiggies. One of them is Sandy Butt's tomb, King Sandy Butt.
I don't remember that name. I might have been skipping these names on this one.
Yeah, this one you just jump on some pillars and shoot some sphinxes.
Oh, the four or all around it. Yeah,
and it will grant you a jiggy.
Yep.
There's also a tomb that is a matching puzzle. So, it has 2 Kazooie faces that you have to find, 2 Banjo faces.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's just like any other. It's super easy puzzle.
Yeah.
Just matching.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't too hard.
And then there is also Jinxie's Temple. So, in this one, you ride magic carpets.
Okay.
And you have to shoot sphinx heads on the wall with eggs.
Shoot some eggs in them?
Yeah. And once you get to the end, you get a jiggy. And all the while, man, this is a good time to talk about the platforming in this game. You can get this game down, but if you don't play platformers, it is hard.
Yeah. It was pretty hard for me to get eggs into those mouths. It was not easy.
Not even that, just the jumping between stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And getting used to distance in the game.
Yeah, and if you, yeah.
But it's something that you get used to.
Mine was aiming those eggs. If you were just a little off to the right, it was sometimes, especially at distance, you wouldn't hit with your eggs. So that was what was hard for me.
So after you jump on the magic carpets, get the jiggy, head out. There's also one other pyramid. And this is where you get the speedrunning boots.
Oh, okay.
So you go talk to Bottles, and he gives you the speed shoes, which are these super white shoes with a red streak on the side.
Yeah.
And they allow Kazooie to run fast.
Yep. Super fast.
And on the outside of this pyramid is this track that you have to run up to. So you hit a switch, you pick up some shoes, and then you have to run up this pyramid as fast as you can. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to get up there. You have to cut corners.
A little bit, yeah. Oh, I mean, I did a little bit, not too much.
Yeah.
Because I also was trying to just stay, keep it going.
Yeah, it took me 4 or 5 times to do it.
Yeah, probably around that time. I mean, yeah, I'm not too sure. I did it a bunch, but...
Reason I'm bitching about it so much, there's actually another way you could do it. Apparently, you can hit the switch, grab the shoes, run to the flying pad,
and just fly?
And fly in there.
What?
And make it in time.
No.
Yeah. And apparently that's a little bit easier than...
Yeah, just as long as you
running up the pyramid.
It's probably just... Still, you have to skillfully run, but it's just not as skilled of running, probably.
Yeah, so once you finally make it up into the pyramid, you drop down, you get a jiggy, and I forget how you do it. I think it's once you grab the jiggy, the pyramid drains. Because it's filled with water.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember how it drains either.
I think it's when you grab the jiggy.
Yeah, this map. I don't really remember much of this map.
So you grab the jiggy, the pyramid drains, and it actually drains into a water basin.
Yeah, okay.
So when you go outside, it fills up a little moat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually how you get to, I believe, the puzzle pyramid.
I think so.
So... the water fills up this moat, you jump on a pillar, you shoot statues with eggs.
And then that pyramid comes down, right?
Goes up.
Or goes up. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that's the puzzle pyramid.
Okay.
I could be wrong. There's also a jiggy. In the far corner of this map, there is this mummy hand that is sticking out of the ground.
Okay.
Did you do this?
I don't think so.
So... what his problem is, he says, I've had this gold forever, screw off, it's mine. And you can't get to him fast enough. So, what you have to do is you have to go get the running shoes, and then speed in and grab it.
Okay.
So you run in and you grab it, and...
I watered a tree and then I left, so that was the last thing I did.
Yeah, I'll talk about Gobi last, the camel.
Oh, is that his name? Okay.
Gobi, yeah. So there's... also, an ancient... I think the name of this is Clear the Ancient Ones Challenge.
Yeah.
And what you have to do here is get on the flying pad and fly through 5 rings.
I didn't do that.
Jiggy appears. There's also a Jiggy if you get on top of the Sphinx and you shoot eggs into his nostrils.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's actually one of the pyramids.
Was that one?
That's
Okay, I
Jinxie's
remember doing
pyramid,
that.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Sandy Butts.
Is that Sandy
Yeah,
Butts?
that's Sandy Butts.
Okay.
And then inside, there's actually... I believe there's one more little pyramid. Because you go inside and you help a snake charmer.
I don't remember doing that at all.
So that makes me think there's 5 pyramids now that I'm thinking about it. So inside this pyramid, there's a snake charmer that you have to shoot eggs into his basket.
Okay.
And he plays a song that a snake comes out of a basket and you have to climb up the snake and there's a Jiggy up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I believe that's everything. So we head to Gobi and we let him off the chain.
Yep.
He is tied up and we need to release him. We release Gobi and he kind of runs off and releases a Jiggy. So we grab that Jiggy and we're like, okay, cool. So head back to the beginning and Gobi's hanging out near Trunker.
Yeah.
And you have to ground pound Gobi.
Yep.
To get him to...
You basically kind of like half knock him out and start like... Not really knock him out, but you hurt him and he starts like drizzling water out of his mouth onto the tree.
Yep. And then the last Jiggy is the Jinjos.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, I said kind of screw that place after a little while.
I did... Gobi's Valley was alright. It was probably middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an alright map. But after Gobi's Valley, we are headed to Mad Monster Mansion, which I think we both agree is a pretty fun map.
I really like this map.
Pretty fun level. But because we are running a little low on time here, I think for these next 3 areas, I'm going to just kind of lay out the Jiggies. We'll talk about the overview of the area and kind of just get your total feelings on the area.
Alright.
So Mad Monster Mansion is the horror map.
Yep.
It is a mansion that is haunted by ghosts.
And skellies, I think is what they're called. I'm not too sure.
Are there skeletons?
Wasn't there? I think there was 1 or 2. Like a few, like, because they come back to life. After
you're right.
When you go in the mansion.
I thought, I don't know why, but there's zombies in my head. But no, they're definitely skeletons.
Yeah, that's what I remembered.
So, this map has a giant house in the middle. It has a chapel. It has a hedge maze. It has kind of a fountain area.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
And then it has a Mumbo Shack who transforms you into a pumpkin.
Yeah, that was fun. You're a tiny little pumpkin.
So in this area, there are of course going to be 10 Jiggies, like always. There is a Jiggy in a well. You have to jump in the well. You can get it either as the pumpkin or as Banjo. So jump in the well, swim in the water, get the Jiggy. In the chapel, there is a ghost that plays the piano, and you have to copy his music. Get the Jiggy. There is a little shack, I believe, that you go in, and it has, I think it's Tumbler. It's some game with a glass on like a poker board of some kind.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, I think it's Ouija. Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of like poker.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. And you jump on it as the pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
you can do it as Banjo.
Oh, I did it as the pumpkin, I think. And
so you jump on this glass and you have to kind of spell out the word Banjo-Kazooie.
Yep.
As a ghost is going around the room, and there's a timer.
Yeah.
And once you do this, you get a Jiggy.
The Jiggy's under the glass cup too, if you didn't notice.
Yeah. How could you not notice?
They mention it, I'm just saying.
Actually, I should have mentioned this back at the chapel. Outside of the chapel, there are 5 pots that you have to plant with eggs.
And flowers pop out of them?
Yep.
Yep.
And once you plant all 5 of them, you get a Jiggy. Back on the chapel, you climb the chapel. On the very top of it, there's a Jiggy.
Okay.
Yep. And then back in the main house, I think we're done with the chapel for now. I might come back to it. But back in the main house, there's this big ghost who, if you step on the squeaky floorboards, he will wake up.
Yeah.
His name is Napper.
Yeah.
Napper the ghost. So what you have to do here is you have to climb all the way to the top of the house.
Yeah.
Go in through the chimney. And then there's these really comfy chairs.
Yeah.
that you can jump on that make no noise.
That's what I did instantly, so I never even woke him up.
And I actually had a problem with this, because this is a good time to bring it up. Kazooie is annoying as hell. Kazooie is making noise all the time. Kazooie's running, he is making noise. He flies, he makes a noise. He is making noise that is louder than these creaky floorboards, but apparently it doesn't wake this ghost up.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because doesn't he go, woo, and like other shit, like...
Yeah.
Like...
And when you're running on him, he goes...
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, this doesn't wake up the ghost. You run through him and you get a jiggy. And then you leave the house and you go around the side yard, and there's a door that you can ground pound, and it breaks, which leads to the cellar.
I think you can just roll into it, too.
Just hit it somewhere.
Yeah, just damage it in some way.
Yeah. And it leads down into the cellar, which is a wine cellar.
Yep.
And in one of these barrels down there is a jiggy.
Yep. And there's also a Jinjo, I believe.
Yeah. And when you're in the room with a Jinjo, they're loud and annoying.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they make a couple jokes about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mumbo says, hey, and take that loud and annoying thing with you.
Oh, the one that's in his shack?
I don't know if it's Mumbo. It's some other character.
Oh, okay.
But somebody says that. So you get that jiggy from the cellar. And then going back to the house, on the second floor, there's a couple windows you can break.
Yep.
So one of these windows leads to a room with a toilet in it.
Yep.
And on this toilet, there's a stop and swap egg.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see because the camera doesn't ever pan where you can see the egg.
Okay.
But if you jump on top of the toilet and jump again, there is a stop and swap egg right there.
Oh, wow.
Did you ever notice when you walked in this room, it played like really triumphant music?
I guess it didn't click. I just thought it had to do with the weird talking toilet.
It feels really out of place if you enter this room like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Because you go out the window, you come back in, it plays the exact same music.
Okay.
So it's like, I already discovered this. Why is it still playing this music?
Oh, alright.
It's because of the stop and swap egg. So if you come in this room as a pumpkin, you can go down the toilet.
Yep.
Which is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Go down the toilet, get a jiggy, and then it's some kind of drain that lets you back outside.
Yeah, it's just you let you. No, I think you crawl back out the toilet.
Do you?
Yeah, you crawl back up the drain you came down in.
Anyways, since you're a pumpkin, you get back up on top of the roof.
Yep.
And there's a gutter you can go down.
Yeah, I found that too, and it goes into the water barrel that's down below.
Yeah, and there's a jiggy in there.
Yep.
And I believe that is all 9 jiggies, plus the Jinjo jiggy, which is the 10th one.
Alright. Oh, no, did you get the maze? There was one on the maze, wasn't there?
I don't believe there is.
There's a Mumbo in the maze, at least. I know that.
Yeah.
I thought there was a jiggy at the end of it. But
no, there's not.
Okay. Maze is dumb, too, because the ghosts are chasing you, and they can go right through the hedges and stuff, too. But if you're just running as a Kazooie, she will run pretty quick, and you don't have to worry about them too much.
Yeah, and the witch switch, just to kind of bring it up before we leave Mad Monster Mansion, is in the chapel on the rafters. There's a flying pad you can get to.
Yeah.
You get on the flying pad and you can get up into the rafters there.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about it for Mad Monster Mansion. It was honestly one of my favorite levels.
Yep.
Great music, great design. I mean, to just rattle off some gaming terms.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely one that will stick with you out of this game.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Get out of Mad Monster Mansion. We're headed... So getting to Rusty Bucket Bay, which is the next level we're headed to, is a little bit of a pain. There's a bunch of water level switches that you have to hit, and it will raise the water level.
Yeah.
You have to keep doing this until you get to a certain level where you can activate a switch to open the door to Rusty Bucket.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you enter Rusty Bucket Bay. And Rusty Bucket Bay is kind of another water level, but you spend a lot of time on the boat.
Yeah, and the water is sewage, so it takes away your oxygen faster.
I believe it's oil water.
Yeah, something like that.
So when you're swimming in this water, even if you're above the water level, it still causes your oxygen levels to go down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the gimmick for this world. It's kind of just an industrial zone with a giant boat in the middle with a bunch of docks surrounding it.
Yeah, this area, like I typically skip, was unpleasing, and I was like, I'm going to get through this one quickly, and I was getting done with the game.
I liked this area, but it had one of my least favorite jiggies.
And that one.
We'll talk about it when I go through the jiggies right now.
Fine.
So, the first jiggy you get, there's a building off to the left that you can bust through the roof.
Okay.
And on top of the crates, there's a jiggy in there.
Was that the one with the glass window on the roof?
It is.
I think I saw that one.
Then, right in front of that building, you hop in the water, and there is a dolphin who is stuck under an anchor.
Okay.
So if you swim up the hole into the ship,
all right,
you can hit the anchor switch, which is surrounded by enemies. It's what makes it hard. And it raises the anchor and it saves the dolphin.
Okay.
And he'll leave you a jiggy. Then, of course, there is the reach the top of the level jiggy.
Yep.
So the ship has 2 smokestacks on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has scaffolding that goes in between each smokestack.
Yeah.
And you can get on the very top of it, and there's a jiggy up there.
Yeah.
There's a couple cranes in this level. There is one crane towards the front of the ship, which has a jiggy under it. So you go and hit the switch for the crane, and it raises this box, and you have to get back to the jiggy in a certain amount of time.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, the timing is actually pretty tight on it.
Yeah.
You have to climb back up the crane, run across it, jump back onto the ship, and then make it under this box.
Yeah, I might not have noticed it or something.
Yeah.
This map, like I was saying, is just one that I kind of tried to get through it. And then I realized I didn't have enough, but I said, screw it, I'm not going back to that one. And I went back to a few that I still hadn't messed with a little bit. And then I used Google for a few that I couldn't find.
Yeah. So that's what one of the cranes does. The other crane drops a big box of TNT that opens up part of the map.
Okay.
So
I probably did that one. Maybe.
Actually, while we're towards the front of the ship, there's another jiggy. There's 3 whistles labeled 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And on the side of the ship, you'll notice that the name of the ship is the 312-111.
Alright, cool.
So there's your password.
Yeah.
You go type in 312-111. And you have to watch out because these steam whistles will hurt you.
Okay.
And after you do that, a jiggy pops out.
Nice.
Right below that is kind of a porthole that you can break.
Okay.
Go in there into the captain's quarter. Inside of there is a jiggy. I think you have to break into his closet or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember going into there.
Yeah, you break into his closet. Now, I'm going to kind of skip a few of them here. So, there is a tube that you can fall down, which drops you into a room where you fight a boss, which is a giant TNT box.
Yeah.
So, you have to beat this giant TNT box, and it's the classic fight where you hit the enemy splits into 2 smaller enemies, and just keeps splitting. Once you kill all the TNT boxes, it gives you a jiggy. But now, we're going to go back up to the top of the ship, which there's 2 jiggies we still need to get. One of them's not bad, one of them's terrible. So, towards the back of the ship, there's another, porthole thing that you can fall down into. And inside of there is a switch that slows down the fans of the engine of the ship.
Okay.
So you hit the switch, and then these fans slow down.
Alright.
And at this point, you go back to the smokestack. On the smokestack, there is a little door that you have to bust through and fall down into the engine room.
Alright.
In the engine room, you have to run across these platforms that are spinning with fans. And these fans, you have to jump through them. These fans are spinning too fast for you to jump through them, except for they slow down for just a second where you can get through them. But they don't slow down completely, so it's still hard to judge the timing.
Okay.
So in this room, there's a jiggy at the end of it. You jump through a couple fans, and you grab the jiggy. But there is also another switch off to the side.
Okay.
So there's another fan that you have to jump through to get to this switch. You hit the switch, and it slows down the propellers of the ship.
Oh, really?
On the outside.
Okay.
But now, you have to make it back through these fans.
Alright.
And if this wasn't bad enough, here's the catch to it all. You get knocked off of these platforms, it's an instant death.
Damn.
And then if you die, you have to go back to that first switch, hit it again,
and do it
go
all
into
over
the
again.
engine room, jump through the fans, hit the second switch,
Damn.
go all the way out,
Nah.
and actually I said I got all the jiggies in the game. This second jiggy is the one I didn't get.
Oh, really?
I said screw it.
Yeah. You couldn't use invincibility or anything?
I don't believe so. I didn't try though.
Oh.
What the fans they don't hurt you, they push you.
Oh.
So they will push you when they're spinning. They will push you a little bit to the left, and you'll fall off into this gas pit.
Okay.
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then naturally, the last jiggy is the Jinjos. So
Yeah.
get all the Jinjos, get all the jiggies, get your ass on out, and we are headed to the final world of the game, which is Click Clock Wood.
Click Clock Wood.
Now, Click Clock Wood has a gimmick to it. It has 4 seasons,
Okay.
which naturally summer, spring, fall, winter.
Yep.
And the first one that is unlocked is spring. So you have to go into spring. There's a switch in spring that you hit
Yep.
that unlocks summer.
Yeah. And then fall, right?
That
and
then you go into summer to unlock fall, and then you go into fall to unlock winter.
Yep.
And this is definitely the biggest area in the game. You're running through the same area, but in different seasons, so it kind of mixes it up. So there's one jiggy that you have that goes out through 4 seasons. It's taking care of the bird in this world.
Yeah.
In spring, you have to hatch his egg.
Okay.
In summer, you have to feed him worms. In fall, you have to feed him twice as many worms. And then in winter, he will finally give you a jiggy.
Okay.
So in the summer, there's a beehive on the outside of the tree. You can ground pound the top of this beehive, get inside, and there's kind of a mini boss fight with a bunch of bees.
Yeah.
So you have to kill what seems like 50 bees.
Yeah, this was in the beehive, right?
Yeah.
You said? Yeah.
Yeah. Kill these bees, then you get a jiggy. And then in autumn, there's this squirrel that you've been talking to throughout the seasons.
Yep.
In autumn, he needs acorns, because he ate too much in the summer. He needs acorns for the winter, so he doesn't die. And I don't know why this is our responsibility. Motherfucker ate all his fucking nuts. We gotta get him more nuts. So you go around in autumn, and you just collect nuts.
Yep.
And then you bring him back to him, feed him. He's good. Gives you a jiggy for it. In the spring, you can plant a flower in the garden.
Yeah.
Grows a jiggy. I think sometime grows it in autumn. So you plant it and then it grows later.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You gotta surpass 1 season of
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another one, there is this beaver who is at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
You have to help him by breaking his rock.
Yeah.
And then he will run into this kind of secret area that you can't get to in this season. So you have to either go out and come to a different season that has water, or to a season that you can be transformed into a bee.
I don't think I did that. I think I did the beavers stuff. I just didn't finish it up.
You didn't ever go get
I didn't finish it up.
You got halfway through the side quest. But yeah, so you help him out and then you have to come back and get your jiggy later.
Okay.
At the top of the tree in spring, you can transform into a bee and fly to the very top of the tree. There's a jiggy up there. Inside, so throughout the seasons, there is this tree house that's being built in one of the branches.
Yeah.
And you kind of just watch it progress till the winter.
Yeah.
And when you go inside of it, there's a jiggy in it.
Yep. Can't think of in that.
Yeah. In the summer and autumn, there is a couple leaves on the side of the tree that you need to get a jiggy.
Yeah, that you bounce up or jump up and back and forth up.
Yeah. And actually, I was thinking about... Never mind. So a treehouse gets built. I was thinking that was another jiggy, but there's also a jiggy at the top of the tree. You go in this room, and there's a bunch of little whippy things that I was talking about earlier that were inside a clanker.
Oh, yeah, those tail things? Yeah.
And there's a jiggy in this room.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets progressively worse through the seasons.
Okay.
So go get it early. And then the last jiggy, again, is going to be find all the Jinjos.
Yep. And I did not.
And that's Click Clock Wood. It is definitely the most ambitious world. And this is kind of like a forebear for what Banjo-Tooie will lead to. Banjo-Tooie is Banjo-Kazooie, but with bigger levels, I feel like.
Okay, so this would be like a small level?
Yeah.
Necessarily in 2? Kind of?
Yeah, kind of. I've never played 2, but that's from my understanding of it.
Okay.
And now, with all 10 levels complete, all 100 jiggies taken. Is that right? 100 jiggies? I don't know.
I'm not too sure.
Actually, I misspoke. 10 jiggies from each 9 levels, and then there's 10 in Gruntilda's lair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and all of that adds up to 100.
Alright.
So after you do Click Clock Wood, we are headed to beat Grunty.
Yep, which would be Grunty's Furnace Fun.
Grunty's Furnace Fun, which is not fucking fun.
Nope, I quit the game for about a week.
Yeah, so I got here. We take 2 weeks to play the game.
Yep, I got here pretty quick.
So we have a 2-week time period to play the game. And I pretty much got to this in the first week. I reached Grunty's Furnace Fun in the first week.
Yeah.
And then I spent a week trying to get through Grunty's Furnace Fun.
Yeah, I mean...
I would fire it up every day.
Yep.
And I would try to make a run through it.
I wouldn't. I eventually just said, I need to do this.
So, let's talk about what Grunty's Furnace Fun is. What this is kind of like a board game.
Yeah.
And the goal of the board game is to get to Gruntilda, who is on the other side of the room.
Yep, and you have like trivia questions and stuff to answer when you land on these.
Each block you land on has a certain icon that specifies what task you will be doing.
Yep.
There's music notes, there are eyeballs, there are Banjo-Kazooies, there are skulls, and then there are they hourglasses? Or they're clocks.
I think, yeah.
And there's clocks.
Yeah, I don't remember all of them, but...
Anyways, the skulls, if you lose the skulls, they will automatically kill you.
Yep.
The Banjo-Kazooies are just trivia questions.
Yeah.
The eyeballs show you a picture and you have to guess where it's from. And then there's actually one that we didn't mention. There's a Grunty space, which you land on this and they ask you a question about Gruntilda. And this is actually something we didn't even bring up. Throughout Gruntilda's lair, she has a fairy sister. And talking to this sister throughout the game will...
She'll tell you 3 things about Grunty.
And these things are usually gross.
Yeah, or just something to, like, bash her. Is what I thought the whole game, and then I realized, hey, I was supposed to be talking to her.
Hey, you were supposed to be needing these things. So I'll kind of read off a couple of these real quick. So she brushes her teeth with salted slug.
Yeah.
Flavored ice cream. Her favorite color is gruesome green.
Her favorite drink was a smoothie elephant sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And she won the biggest butt in high school.
She puts, like, motor oil in her hair or something like that?
I didn't see that one, I don't think. But anyways, throughout the game, you are getting these little trivia bits about Gruntilda from her sister.
Yeah.
And you don't know that you're going to need these until the very end.
Nope.
So you get to Gruntilda's Furnace Fun, and we did the eyeball. Oh, and then the clock.
Yeah.
The clock puts you in a challenge from the game.
Yeah.
So we mentioned the alligator challenge where you had to eat the bugs. We mentioned the bee challenge where you had to kill the bees. We mentioned the turtle challenge where you had to copy
the music.
Yeah, you had to copy the music.
And then there was probably the running one and those type of challenges too.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones. But you land on those and you have to go through that, and if you don't win, then you get hurt and you have to do it again.
I didn't have to do too many of those, so...
Yeah, that's the one that killed me. That's the one I hated.
Oh, really?
I hated doing those little games.
Yeah, it was answering questions and stuff. After a while, I just looked them all up.
Yeah, the questions weren't bad, because I could usually guess the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, you have like 2, or 1 out of 3 is going to be right, so...
And, I mean, I gotta own up. I didn't finish this game because I fired this game up last night. I got to the end, I hit a skull switch,
And
answered the wrong question, and by this time I was done with the game. I gave up and I watched the rest on YouTube. So you can take my opinion with the slightest grain of salt from this point on. So after you make it through Grunty's Furnace Fun, which, how many times did it take you? Because I probably ran through here probably 20, 30 times.
Yeah, too much to count for me.
Yeah.
Like, I just kept dying, and I eventually just had to look it all up. Just ended up, like, getting through what I could on my own, and then looking up all the questions and everything like that,
So after you do Grunty's Furnace Fun, you are in a boss battle.
Not exactly. You walk up, and you beat it, and she just says, you beat my game. Oh, yep. No. Well, I guess you win the prize, and then she runs away. And she runs up the stairs. Mm-hmm. And, and guess who's one of the prizes? Tooty. Yeah, Tooty's the prize. There's, like, some, like, broken, like, cauldron or washer or something. Or some weird other prize. I couldn't quite make it out. It was really weird.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
And then there's, like, a doll of her that's missing, like, an eye or something like that.
Like a fake one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kazooie makes the joke like, I think we should get the second level prize, man. It looks pretty good. Like, we can have some fun with that. And Tooty's like, well, quit messing around. Pick me already.
Kazooie, I love Kazooie. He's just been an asshole his whole game.
Yeah. He's just a sarcastic asshole. It's fun.
You go pick Tooty?
Yeah, you pick Tooty. And so it's like, the game's over. It just flashes to you guys chilling in your in some lawn chairs outside your house, having a smoothie or whatever you're drinking with bottles and Tooty, and you're chilling. You're like, so what happened with Gruntilda? And they just kind of get really wide eyed, and they're like, uh-oh. And they're like, you didn't defeat her, did you? And they're like, nope. And she's like, go do it now. And they're like, oh, alright. So then it just pops you back up right before the stairs that she ran up. So
you got your fake ending.
Yeah, you get like a little fake ending.
Take...
What's also funny is that when she runs up the stairs, she loves talking in rhymes. But one of the rhymes was, well, you may have won this game, but I'll get you with the credits or something like that. Yeah. And the credits, it goes through your first half of just credit. Well, it's not even credits. It's really just the names of all the characters throughout the game.
Stuff.
Yeah. So, and you sit through that for quite a while. Not like super long, but it's definitely long enough to be like, all right, let's go now. I'm done looking at all these and they're weird names. Like they are not. They're just like
the bull is called Big Butt.
Yeah, there's another monster that's called Bull, but it's spelt weird. There's other ones like Ojonjo and like
bunch of goofy names.
Yeah,
you can see why we don't remember them all.
Threw letters together.
But then after all of this,
you get to the top. And, and it's kind of her little lair area. And you meet a cauldron. And it's the cauldron that you see at the beginning that tells her how she's ugly. Yep. And he hates her because she just, he even mentions how she defecates in her sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, God. this game is for kids, too.
Yeah, and it's funny. But, he mentions, you're gonna go, beat her up, then, jump in my cauldron, I'll teleport you up there.
Yep.
So you go to the top. And at this point is basically, before you get into here, if you have collected enough jiggies, you can get instant max everything. Yeah. I believe you have to collect all of them or nearly all of them.
Yeah.
But you can get all
I don't know. I probably would have got it.
Yeah, so if you open these doors, there's just these there's these little floating pillows that like maybe you'd have like a magic ball that a voodoo person would see into. It's those type of pillow. One has a feather. One has the red feathers, one has the golden feathers.
And then the eggs.
One has all eggs, and then one gives you max life. Yeah. And then it gives you a red bar of life, which is a whole nother health bar.
Which you're gonna need.
Yeah, definitely, because it sucks. I died a couple times because I didn't have that health bar. It was a lot of
I imagine I would have died.
Yeah. Luckily I don't use the invincibility stuff a lot, so I had a lot of golden feathers. Because I didn't open these doors.
So tell us about the Grunty battle.
Grunty battle sucks.
You get all suited up for it.
Yep.
And then from what I saw, you have to shoot her with eggs.
Yeah. So because you gotta do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So first off, she's on a broom.
Yeah.
Or her flying broom, and she just kind of dive bombs you a bunch, and eventually the broom will get tired, and then you can go hit her.
Yeah.
After that, she flies off to the edge of the map and just is shooting fireballs at you.
And that's where you.
And then that's when you hide on the edge until she's done throwing fireballs, and she gives you a second.
Yeah.
You jump on the edge and you shoot her with eggs.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
a flying pad.
She gets a shield on you.
Yeah.
On her, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to get into the flying pad.
And then you have to
charge.
Slam into her.
Yeah, you have to do that flying charge at her a bunch of times. Which is quite hard.
Because you can't aim in this game.
Yeah. And, actually, I think I missed something first. Before, when she puts the shield on her.
Yeah.
The Jinjos come out to help you.
Oh, right.
And you have to release them, and as they get released, they do like this aerial, like...
And take her out. Yeah,
yeah, it's like kamikaze in them almost.
So all your buds coming to help.
Yeah, and then you release this final huge one
that
comes and helps you and gets rid of that shield, and now she's flying around, and now you gotta slam into her and a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I don't remember having to do much more than that to her.
Yeah, so. I think once you slam into her enough, she goes flying off of the tower.
Yeah, and then and a rock falls with her.
Yeah.
And she falls into the ground, and then a rock falls onto her after that. And then she's like stuck under there. She's like, I can't get out. I can't get out. And then...
That'll actually come up in the later games.
I assumed, because it... What is his name? Grunkle or something? Or, her doctor, or her, like, scientist dude. It's like a...
Klungo?
Like, yeah, I think it's Klungo.
Yeah.
Klunko or something like that.
I think it's Klungo.
Yeah, it's something like that, but yeah. He's just sitting outside the rock like, aw. Like, my master.
Yeah.
But, and then after you defeat her, it goes into some more, like, talking about how all the names and stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to a cutscene to where you're on a beach.
Yep.
And if you've collected all 100 Jiggies, Mumbo will show up and saying, I found some secret pictures. And then he mentions, if you've collected all 100 Jiggies, I'll show them to you.
Oh.
I did not, so I was like, what do you got?
Uh-huh.
So I looked it up, and he shows you all these secret areas, or shows you that there are secret areas.
The stop and swap.
To where you can get the stop and swap items.
Yeah.
And that ice key. I don't know if the ice key has something else.
It's just another cosmetic
cosmetic item. All right.
One thing about this end cutscene I would like to add in is when you're finally on the beach, Banjo makes a little statement like, can I finally rest now, guys? I did it. And then everybody's like, oh, shut up, Banjo. Yeah, you can rest. But there is, and it's kind of off-putting, there's a human who walks by.
Oh, yeah, and she's like...
Yeah, just a human. You have not seen a human in this game
No,
yet.
not at all. Just random girl walking up, holding some drinks, like they're servants.
And the video I saw, she was a woman in a bikini who was well endowed, but on the plate she was holding there were 2 watermelons on it.
Yeah, covering
in front of her right in front of her cha-chas.
I could assume, because if you're looking at, which I was, because I was like, there's a human, like, what the fuck? And
right?
then I was like, and then right as she's about to leave the scene, you can see her tatas shake.
Really?
Like the ever-living... Like the ocean, man. Like, every time I step, it's like, boom, boom.
Do you think
boom, boom. So I think they designed that, and then it was in the game, and then they're like, well, we gotta get rid of it. So they added something else on top of it to cover it.
Yeah.
But that was my only thought. That was like what I thought.
They do a lot of that in Conker's Bad Fur Day, so it's probably some kind of tie over from that.
Okay. Maybe that's it.
They have some big old titties in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
And, yeah, it could be a joke that we just don't get. Because it's like an old
But
game.
It was shocking just having a human.
Yeah, it was super weird. I did not expect it, but...
But anyways, that's Banjo-Kazooie, the first one.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Doty? How was it?
Grindy.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't like you're doing random encounters, but...
I just don't like grinding for items too much when I don't necessarily need them.
I think they expected that you were more into the worlds than you seem to be.
And I might have been back in the day when these games first came out. It would have been I want to play every area, get everything, so...
Yeah, that's a good point to make. These games are good, but time does wear them down a little bit.
Yeah, and we're more used to other games that have a better looting system, I guess, and like other things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's not the usual thing anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's like,
and I think it takes a little bit of getting used to, or it's just not the norm and it's different now.
Yeah, and maybe if they would have mentioned that you have, if you collect them all, there are like things that you get at the end.
They just did that in old games though. You had
you just had to know that, you know, like. But I also went into this game knowing that I wasn't going to collect everything, and then they showed me a shitload more stuff than I wanted to collect. So I was like, nah, I'll get the bare minimum, thanks.
Yep, but I don't know. I still enjoyed playing the game. Back in the day, it was still one of my favorite games when I had a N64.
Yep, and I never had an N64 back in the day, so all these games are new to me, and
so that's probably why you don't like them as much.
Yeah, I have no nostalgia for them.
I do, so. Well, now that we're at the end of the episode, we're going to do what we normally do and rank our games that we've played on the show. We only have 3 games. Yep,
and we know what one is. Dishonored's at the bottom, I believe.
Dishonored's at the top.
Was it? Oh, Fable's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on my list, I like Dishonored the most.
Okay.
And then, so my list goes Dishonored, Banjo-Kazooie, Fable. Number 1 is the best, so I like Dishonored the most.
Okay.
Banjo-Kazooie's good. Fable, I did not have a great time with.
Okay. I would have to say Dishonored, Fable, then Banjo. But that's because I think I had more fun with the story with Fable than I did with Banjo, and I'm a bit more of a story nerd when it comes to it. So
Fable just felt like Banjo-Kazooie changed up enough for me. Fable just felt like the same thing over and over again.
That's true. I feel that same way about Banjo, though, except for the maps were different. It was the same.
Yeah.
You're just doing the exact same things in every map.
And that was enough for me to like it more than Fable.
That's fair.
But, anyways, that's our episode today, guys.
Yeah. What game are we going to play next?
Well, we are playing the original Gears of War.
What?
Yep, the original Gears of War. Gears of War 1.
Dope.
Yep.
I've only played 3, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played any of them.
Yeah, I don't know much of their story or anything.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Alright, so as always, if you want to talk to us, we are on Reddit, GreenDesertGaming on Reddit, on Twitter at GreenDesertGaming, and then we are also, of course, on YouTube.
Yep, Green Desert Gaming.
So, if you ever feel like talking about a game, let us know. Come on over.
Yep.
And as always, thank you.
Thank you, guys.